Hey everyone, so it's Monday, 4:30 today, and I've just finished making the Trello for the project, so I'm just going to show you off quickly. So, on how to do this, we have milestones, which are just telling what I'm going to do for this whole version of the game. So milestone 0.1 was just finishing the tutorial, which is obviously done. 0.2 is making the game my own, and you can see what I'm going to do to make it my own here. So, we want to create Wizard Tower, which, as you saw in the last video, I have kind of started that. Creating some custom tiles, which includes a tower placement block, so you know which blocks you can place towers on, a path block, so you know which one the enemies are going to take, and scenery blocks. 2.3 will be creating custom enemies, and 2.4 making a test level. Now, things to consider, just things I'm going to look at throughout the game. Right, so different pathfinding system. So far we are using bread first, and I was thinking about possibly changing this to something else. So I'm going to show you what I was considering. I'm considering using dijkstras. So dijkstras basically, let's have a path here. So this is where the enemy wants to go. We'll call that T for target, and they can go this way, just ignore the bad. How mine does it is uses the shortest route. We'll check each one and go, okay, well this way is shortest, so we'll take this route, ignoring them. Dijkstras, however, it will still use the shortest route, but routes can have values on them. Going to each node is one way to think about it, but then you have to add on this value as well. So using the shortest route before would actually be about 205 to get there. That's how long it would take realistically. Going this route, which you'd think is about the same length as that, is 80, which is actually less than that, which is 125. So then the longest route is actually the quickest route because it only takes 10, 6, 4 and 5, which is 20 in total. So then the AI would go, okay, well this way's quicker, so let's go along this way. And how you would show that in a gameplay perspective, I'm not entirely sure. In my head I would show off by like, oh well this is a swamp area, so their movement speed is reduced, so it just takes them longer. So that's how we might do it. So different game modes, kind of want to add like just an endless mode with just enemies coming off all the time. That's not going to be for a while though. Having an element of strategy with having a limited numbers of towers. So at the moment of the game you can only place down 5 towers, and when I was watching the rest of the tutorial, just the ending of it, the creator made it so you can only place 3 towers at a time. So that way you'd have to keep moving your towers depending on where the enemies were, which I thought worked really well. So I'd like to keep an element of strategy in it, just so you can't place an unlimited number of towers. Like an example I'm going to use is Bloons Tower Defense. That game you can just keep placing towers down when you have the gold for it, but I don't particularly want to do that. There'll be a way I'll decide how to do it, but I'm not sure yet. So types of towers, we have all these types of towers. Theme is just the wizards versus the unnatural order, and you have to protect the base. Different types of enemies, which I've not decided yet, and then adding a store. Store will be where you unlock more towers, like maybe more special towers and getting upgrades to help you in the game. And yeah, that's my Trello. I'm probably not going to do much else today, and tomorrow I will get to work. Hi everyone, it's Tuesday today, and after doing some of my regular chores and exercise in the morning, I used the afternoon to work on the game. I started off by just placing some of the models I already had in Unity just to see how they'd look, and just making sure about the sizes. My goal today is to make a block for the ground and for the towers to be placed on, but only a temporary one. What I didn't realise is this was it was easy enough to create a block, as you can see in the screen, a light blue block there, which I do change the colours of. So later on I just recoloured the block a bit and brought it back into Unity. I was thinking about the best way to do this, about either changing a lot of my scripts, because it didn't really fit, because the block wasn't actually the right size and I wasn't sure what size the block from the tutorial was. Then I had a better idea of just copying the components of the other block and placing them on the new one. This saved me a lot of time and was 100 times easier than what I was planning to do. So what I've put on this block is a label, so that way I know the coordinates of it exactly. Using this cube editor script, it basically snaps to the grid for me automatically, and the label updates the name of the blocks for me, so that way I'll say cube 00 to cube 01 to 10 and etc, depending on its position. You can see the label on the screen there. Really simple thing that I've been made here, and it makes it much easier for me when I'm designing levels. So now we're going to Magic of Voxel. What I want to create is a top of the tower, because the guns in the tutorial, they like move around and can shoot, and they look at the enemies, and I want to create that for the towers. What you're seeing me create will not be the final version of this. I kind of want to create like a sphere or ball / eye thing at the top of the magic towers that shoot out the projectiles. And after playing around with Magicka for a while, because I'm still not used to the software at all, I got something I was quite happy with. So I got this power cube looking thing. So then back in Unity, we had placed the tower already on the blocks just to see how they lined up, and they will need some moving. I brought the tower topper in and I attached it to the tower. One issue with Magicka Voxel though is that a lot of the models just get called default, and I'm not really sure how to fix that at the moment. I can change them there and then prefab them and it works a little bit, but it's not perfect. So I placed the tower topper on and I attached the tower script from my already towers and put them on the new tower. They required the actual top part to be in the script and some particles, so I just copied the particles over from the other one and used the new tower topper I had. The padding is 360, which I'll show in a second. That's just so it can go 360 degrees. So now that's done, I prefabbed the tower just so I could actually be able to place it, and in the tower factory script, which is where I can place my towers, where it gets the prefab to place the towers from, I replaced it with the new tower. It uses a script to do it, which just makes it a lot safer because it means only objects with this script can be used. I then made a few blocks which I knew would be placeable, played the game, and then I placed the tower and it worked near perfectly. I mean, the tower's not in the right location, but the orb rotates and it shoots at the enemies how I wanted it to. I think it looks pretty cool in my opinion. Obviously that's not final, I will do some more to it, but I'm quite happy with how that looks. So it's been about 2 hours since then, and what I've been working on now is being able to show which blocks are placeable and which aren't. It's a really simple thing I'm doing here, so basically all the paths that are grey are not placeable, the ones that are purple are placeable. I did do this by just having like another object on and like hiding one and showing the other, but I just didn't think that was very performance efficient. So instead, in the waypoint script, you have two objects, the ground and the tower path. It uses these prefabs to decide which ones to be spawned, because when you see there, none of it's spawned. So I'll show you the code now, and in this function, in the update function, it will only do this once, but once it's been explored, if it's placeable, that means the placeable block will be instantiated there. If it's not placeable, then the ground one will be instantiated there. That's all there is to it. This evening I might just work on making the blocks look a bit fancier, but tomorrow we'll work on making an enemy, which will be quite interesting. Hi everyone, it's Wednesday today. And last night, after I signed off, I did a little bit more work in the game. So what I've added now is a way to control camera during gameplay. It's not perfect, it's a bit clunky, but it's good enough for now. It means I can actually go around my game when I'm playing, but again, it's really not perfect. One issue I noticed though yesterday was the towers don't work. Well, they do. The way they detect hits is with the particles, and the particles don't actually hit the enemies anymore. I don't know why, I think it's probably due to sizing. I know it's still hitting though, because I've got this test block and the particles at the moment just go along in a straight line. Whenever they hit the block, they do a print, as you can see down there, bullets, and it does detect them. So it's not a collision issue, it's just the fact they're not hitting them. And I don't know why. It seems to just be going through, and also when the enemies destroy, their particles don't spawn in the right spot anymore. This will be an issue I need to look into, but for now, it's okay. So after playing some Animal Crossing this morning, I thought, you know what, let's just get a quick enemy designed. So we're in Magicka Voxel. This is not what I've designed, by the way, this is just one they've got for us. I was thinking about what I want to design, and I had no idea. But then I had a little look this morning, I thought a goblin could be a good idea for the design. I'm just not sure the sizing yet. So what I've decided to do is I'll start off with this size. I'll just import this one straight into Unity. If that fits, well then I'll import a goblin. I'll make a goblin somehow. Similar to this, I think. So we're back again. That didn't actually take too long, and I'm kind of happy with how the model looks. I've exported all its parts separately. This is so I can do this. Not great, but it means I can animate the character if I want to, which is something I've been wanting to do because I think it'll make it just look a bit better. It's now 12 in the afternoon. I don't actually have much time before I have to go work, and I need to eat before that as well, so this is probably all I do for today. Tomorrow we will work on adding the enemy into the game, and by that I mean having it have all the right scripts and hopefully getting the towers to be able to shoot it, because that's an issue I have at the moment. But for today, quite happy with how this looks. Hey everyone, so it's Thursday today. After a long shift yesterday, I came back and I did not work on the game. What I did yesterday was we added in the enemy, but when I added it in, I noticed there was an issue with the towers. Sometimes the towers, when they shoot, they miss. Like, the particles just miss the enemy completely. So I spent this morning, I didn't record it because it was just bug fixing, I spent this morning just trying to fix that, and I basically did. I'll go into that in a sec. So on Trello, create custom enemies. I'm going to say we've done that. I also learned yesterday that Magic Voxel actually has layers, which I did not know about. So once I've learned how to use them a bit more, I'm going to recreate the enemy with layers this time, just because it'll make it a lot easier to do. So for now, I'm going to take that on green. So for today, what we're going to do in Unity is basically just setting up the new enemy. So we'll create a game object and we'll call that Goblin enemy. Call that enemy 1 for now, as this will be the prefab. And we'll reset its transform. So then I'll select all its components, drag that one to enemy 1, and if we have a look at the boy, he is beautiful. He is kind of beautiful, got that nice head, obviously, is what I was going to say. So what I'm going to do to make it like the exact same as your enemy is just drag this boy in, bit big. So what this needs is, so I'm going to open another inspector window actually, just because that will help us out. So this one is the prefabbed enemy, and this one is our new enemy. So for now it needs an enemy movement script. Allow its move speed to be the same for now, 0.5, and then it needs an enemy damage script. Hit points 10 is fine, but for now I'll make it 5. 10 is the default value. And there we go. So after a little bit of tinkering, the new prefab is set up like this. So the goblin head has a box collider on, which will detect collisions with the particle. Well, it should do anyway. And that should basically be it. So the only way we can check it is by playing the game. I mean, it's almost correct. So we can see here it's not spawning in the right location at all. It's spawning a bit too far to the left for some reason. Hi everyone, it's been a little while now and I'll show you where we're up to. Currently, after a lot of going through everything, we have the goblins who are set up properly in the game. If you have a look in the scene, you can see it moving how it should be. Obviously they don't rotate, I just haven't added anything for that yet. Except the issue with the towers is still apparent. So if I spawn you in there, you can see it hits, but first of all the enemy hit particles spawn in the corners, but they also, it misses. So I'm going to be thinking this one through. I am tempted to use raycasting instead, so that way it just produces a line from its spot to the enemy. I think that might be more accurate and possibly just better. So if we go to our Trello, so on Trello we have custom enemies. So making a test level, well we still need some more blocks. And my issue with the blocks at the moment is there's no clear center point on them, which is something I'm going to have to design. And smooth movement. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll have time to do smooth movement this week, because I am working tomorrow and Saturday. So this will probably be the last video this week, because I need to edit it as well and get it out for Sunday. So next week what we'll do is, hopefully I will have designed all the tiles that I need, and possibly have a ray tracing system in. If not, next week we'll do smooth movement and do the ray tracing. So I just wanted to say thank you everyone for watching the start of this devlog. I hope you come back next week for more, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Well, I thought the devlog was over anyway, but I could not let myself end it with having that massive bug, so I did the only thing I knew that would work. I turned to the one location which I knew would help me, Bracky's. Bracky's actually had a fantastic tutorial on how to make a tower defense game, and after a few adjustments, using his episode on turrets and shooting, I got a system that worked perfectly. So if we jump over to Unity, I'll show you how it is. So a few things have changed. So if we open the tower prefab, firstly what you notice, we have a point apart to rotate. Rather than rotating the topper itself, we rotate this, because then now it rotates like this, which is great. We have a fire point, because now instead of using particles, we just shoot out actual bullets, and they come out from this spot. And that solved that issue. The other issue was that the bullets wouldn't actually hit the enemy. So the enemy's actually there, but the model's there, so the bullets would hit that. So I had to do a few things. First of all, we put a hit point on the enemy, right in the middle of their model. The bullets now go after that. How it worked before is you got a transform component from all the enemies in the screen, and that's what you would target. But obviously with this waypoint, it didn't work exactly. The tower takes two transforms, the target enemy script and the target enemy hit point. And the direction that it's going towards is towards the hit point rather than the script, because the script will be at that bad location. We still need the script because we need it to be able to do enemy damage. We get a copy of the script from the nearest enemy transform, and we get the hit point from taking their child. And that's what we target, we go towards the hit point. A lot of these functions probably aren't used anymore, so I need to go over them. And then we look at the hit point rather than the enemy itself, because that was wrong, and that's why it was missing the target. I realised this quite late, but then I realised how to fix it as well. And then we do shoot, so does this seek function, and we pass in the transform of the enemy script and the hit point. I also added some gizmos, thank you brackies again, so I could see the range of my turrets, which is something I really wanted to do. In this seek, what I was doing is setting these variables for us. So hit point is the hit point, target enemy is target enemy. So if there's no target enemy, then you just destroy the bullet. But the direction is between the hit point and this enemy, and this object. So it translates towards that, because we want it to hit the target. And then, once we hit it, we use a target enemy which has the actual enemy damage script to process the hit. And that's all there was to it. The death particles work now as well, so I'll show you how it all works. So as you can see, we place a guy down there, and it targets it exactly where X. And that is all we're doing for this week in the devlog. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you'll stick around till next week, where we'll get some more done, because if we have a look at Trello, create custom tiles. Well, we've got the custom enemy. So now, next week what we'll do is we'll probably make a test level on the smooth movement, which won't take too long. In between then, I'll try and get some of these blocks done. If not, I'll do that on the video as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next devlog. Bye.